Now, here was a group of people that joined David. 1 Samuel 22. Look, please, with me again at verse 2. Well, let me read verse 1 and 2. David therefore departed thence and escaped to the cave Adullam. And when his brethren and all his father's house heard it, they went down thither to him. So not only were some men that he did not know join him, but also his family came. And now, and everyone that was in distress, and everyone that was in debt, and everyone that was discontented, gathered themselves unto him. And he became a captain over them. And there were with him about 400 men. 400 men who were all in trouble. Plus his family there, his father, his brethren. They all were with him. All of them in trouble with King Saul. But because of David, and because of their hunger and purity of heart, look what happened to them later. Look at 2 Samuel. Turn to 2 Samuel 23. Beginning at verse 8, it says, these be the names of the mighty men whom David had. Hold it, hold it, hold it. We just read they were in debt. They were discouraged, discontented. No. We read later they became mighty men. Do you see it there? Do you see it there? 2 Samuel 23 verse 8. It says they're mighty men. How did they become mighty? By associating with the mighty. Association, say it. Association. And then look at verse 18. These mighty men became giant killers just like him. He killed Goliath and they killed other giants. And Abishai, the brother of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, which was his cousin, by the way, David's cousin, was chief among three, and he lifted up his spear against 300 and slew them. He slew 300 men. His own cousin became a mighty man. And verse 20, and Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man of Kabzeel, who had done many acts, he slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. He went down also and slew a lion in the midst of a pit in time of snow. Here's another giant killer. How did he become a giant killer? He joined a giant killer. Association. Say it. Association. Now, this association brings impartation always. Remember that. If you associate, there'll be impartation from that man or that company. Impartation follows association. It's really one and the same. Because in Numbers 27, verse 18 and on, we see God commanding Moses to lay hands on Joshua. Joshua had associated with Moses. He was his helper. He was his assistant. And before Moses died, what did God say? Lay hands on Joshua. Put your honor on him. And now in Deuteronomy 34, verse 9, it says that Joshua now was anointed, for Moses had laid hands on him. The impartation came because of association. Did you hear what I said? Yeah. I rejoice by the fact that many of my former employees are now mighty preachers. John Bevere is one of them. You know John Bevere? He was my youth pastor. He worked in our church in Orlando when nobody knew him. That association, something happened to him. He'll tell you this to this day. And others like him. A lot of ministers have big, massive churches, some of them. Started as young men in our church in Florida. But they knew one thing, association. Paula White and her husband Randy sat on the front row 4 years in OCC in Orlando. Nobody knew Paula White. Nobody knew Randy. But to this day, they'll tell the world, we were at Benny Hinn's for 4 years and sat there. You can't be long enough under an anointing and leave still the same. I sat under Catherine's for a number of years. I didn't miss holiday. Man, every time I could go to a service, I was there. Why? I understood one thing. Impartation. 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 Something will rub on you sooner or later. You're not going to just be empty with an anointed atmosphere around you. You just can't be. Association. Say it. Association. It's very key here. So I had to do it. I learned from Catherine. I used to go to her meetings all the time. I wanted to just do anything. I volunteered, gladly passed choir sheets around, and I did it. And I've said it many times, and I mean I tell you, I mean every word. If Catherine was alive today, I'd still serve her. Because I believe you cannot lead till you serve. And I believe if you serve, God will honor you. And I believe if you help, if you assist, remember this. There's something very important I'm about to say here, and don't miss it. After Saul had fallen, David's own men came and said to him, let's kill him. We'll get rid of him for you. No, no. God will not hold him guiltless who'll touch the anointed. Even though Saul was in sin by now, what did David do? David protected Saul's anointing. He protected Saul's anointing even from his own men, who said, let's go kill him. He's your enemy, David. He's been after you, David. He's here to kill you, David. He was pursuing David to kill him. David ran from Saul. David was hiding from Saul. Saul was coming after David. But twice, David's men said, here he is. God gave us a chance. Let's kill the man. And David said, no, don't you dare think that way. Why? Because David understood one thing. God will never give you your own anointing until you protect somebody else's. He protected Saul's anointing even after Saul was his enemy. Are you listening? Yes. Are you listening? Yes. He was protecting the anointing of an enemy. Saul was not his friend. He was protecting the anointing of a man who was out to kill him. He said, no, no, no. I'm going to protect the anointing of Saul because he's still God's anointed. Even though he's my enemy, he's still God's anointed. And by protecting Saul's anointing, God gave him his own. That's very important. How sad today people attack people's anointings. They aim at preachers because they don't like it. What? No, 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 no. Be careful. Be careful. If you protect the anointing of a man, God will honor you with your own. No matter what they've done, it's none of your business to talk about that. No matter what weaknesses they have in their life, God will deal with them. You just protect that man. My wife and I have one policy. We'll never hire anyone who comes into our ministry and attacks their former employer. Because when they attack their former employer, they're going to attack me. We have a law in our ministry. I will never hire anybody who comes in and attacks their former employer. How can they be loyal to me if they were not loyal to him? So that's a law. Never touch somebody that attacks his former employer. And we've gained from that. I'll never forget, Sue and I were interviewing a man in our home that we were considering for a very high position. And he attacked his pastor. We were hiring him to take care of our children. He thought he'd win by telling me about his pastor. I said, no, man. I said, you cannot attack your pastor and be on this, in this ministry. I won't hire you. It was over. That interview was over. Because she and I believes if he attacked his pastor, he'll attack me. No way. No. If he does not protect the anointing of that pastor of his, he'll never protect mine.